Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about why Chapter 15 of 2 Blue Vortex should serve as a warning for us fans of Boruto Uzumaki, in particular when it comes to those who doubt as to where his power is ultimately going to end up, because we've now hit a very crucial stage in Boruto's journey, which is the admission of fear when it comes to Momoshiki. And there's this very beautiful parallel unfolding right now that I don't see enough people talking about, which is why in today's newest Naruto Explain video, I wanted to explain to you not only why I think the stage has been set for Boruto to control Momoshiki's power, but why this is also adding a twist to previously established lore aspects from Naruto's manga, as well as Boruto Naruto Next Generations, which has a crucial payoff to Boruto's character, which should change the way that you view Boruto harnessing Momoshiki's true power later on when he reaches a point of transcendence, because it will be at this point that Boruto proves Sasuke right when he told Naruto that even if the times change, the soul of a shinobi remains the same. It all leads to Sasuke's student proving him right, and the way that Boruto does so is by mastering Momoshiki's power. To be clear, Boruto overcoming Momoshiki has, and will always be a slow burner in terms of the story narrative, both in real life and that we wait monthly for each chapter, as well as where we are on the part of Boruto's journey. For as big of a prodigy as Boruto is in universe, his path to claiming this power, it was never going to be as easy as it was for someone like Kawaki to upgrade himself by seeing Amado to remove his limiters, or by buying new ninja tech parts to install in his body, by using the extra cash that he earned by using Benjamin app, which is the sponsor of today's video. This video is going to be brought to you by Benjamin app, and you guys are definitely going to want to listen up here. So think about how much time you spend playing mobile games on your cell phone because you're just trying to kill a few minutes of spare time. Well, here's the thing. What if I told you it is possible to earn money while playing games? Well, that's exactly what Benjamin app allows you to do. And I don't mean getting coins and tokens and points and things of that nature. I mean cold hard cash that gets deposited into your bank account, all while playing mobile games and killing time. By using my link in the description box and downloading Benjamin app, you can start generating real money playing any of the 1,000 games that you get access to, where you can easily start earning a few extra dollars per day in the time that you spend killing time by playing mobile games. From their wide selection of games ranging from casual games to puzzle games, RPGs, and so much more, you get daily login bonuses which can increase your earnings, and you can turn those pesky ads that you get playing games into cold hard cash that you can earn just by watching them. As Boruto fans, we've all heard Shikamaru talk about how Konoha's military budget's been cut. If Shikamaru was really as big brain as everyone thinks he is, he would have been having all those kids in Konoha using Benjamin app to play the games on there, because think about what you could do if you earned a few extra dollars per day doing something you love anyway. Don't hesitate, use my link in the pinned comment and the description box to download Benjamin app today. I think the biggest thing we have to look at here is the fact that Boruto's admission of fear regarding Momoshiki, it has set the groundwork for him mastering this power, and Sasuke's character, it is the key to it, but not with him physically there training Boruto. If you think that, you're misunderstanding the entire premise of this topic, and you are very likely someone who's holding on to the hope of Naruto and Sasuke coming back super powered up. While it's easy to sit there and say Uzumaki's sealing jutsu, Jogan appears, Hinata and Naruto having Hagoromo and Hamura's chakra influences Boruto, or even Momoshiki previously having eaten hundreds of chakra fruits before this. While all of those things are very good reasons, I think Sasuke's role in Boruto mastering Momoshiki's power is gone overlooked by a lot of fans here. Now, you might be asking, hey Naruto, explain, how can Sasuke, someone who is a literal tree right now, help Boruto master Momoshiki? What can Sasuke do stuck in a tree that he didn't do in the year that he trained Boruto, besides wait for someone to bring him an Uchiha clan garden statue and make a bird bath under the cherry blossoms growing under his tree branches, since that's the only thing he'll ever see wet for a while? No apology to Sakura. Well, here's the truth. Sasuke, he's done a lot for Boruto. He is doing a lot currently for Boruto, and he will do even more for Boruto than he'll ever get credit for when it comes to Boruto when he harnesses Momoshiki's true power and mastery, even if Sasuke never says another line of dialogue in the series. The reason why I say that is that it requires a fundamental understanding of the Boruto and Sasuke relationship and the samurai aspects of it, which I highlighted that in the Boruto Broken Sword video, but also understanding the way that the first arc of the story, the versus Momoshiki arc, opened up and closed with a message that fans have overlooked when discussing anything regarding Boruto's future, which is Boruto says his last words in the flash forward sequence, "I'm still a ninja," in the opening. And one of the last parts of the versus Momoshiki arc before we got new material for the alter ending of the movie story is where we see Sasuke winning his bet with Naruto, where he says even if times change, the soul of a shinobi remains the same. And Boruto was the one shown when that voiceover was being uttered. Sasuke's words were being spoken by Naruto as they watched Sasuke's student wearing Naruto's old jacket, which foreshadowed the ending of Boruto Part 1, where Sasuke tells Boruto that he will be forced to learn and endure the same lessons Naruto did if he's going to solve the Otsutsuki problem. And the battle of brothers that he and Kawaki are fated to clash in. Sasuke's words were spoken by his brother. Boruto represented both sides, and then Boruto's also a bridge to the conflict with Boruto and Kawaki. Everything is all molding together. Understanding that is a crucial thing to grasping how the stage is setting for Boruto to master Momoshiki's power, which to further understand that, we have to also look at the symbolism between the dynamic between Boruto and Momoshiki, Boruto and Kawaki, and Boruto and Code, because they are all intricately linked together in ways I don't see enough people paying attention to. All of this is connected. Boruto early on was written as someone who he had all the talent in the world. Like Kishimoto said when describing him in one of the last interviews he did as Boruto began its special monthly appearance on Weekly Shonen Jump in 2016. He said Boruto was someone who was super talented and super smart enough that it isn't so much that he goes out of his way to cheat, so much as he figures out where all the shortcuts are without even being shown the shortcuts, which is how we know he learned so many jutsu very fast, but he never truly mastered them, which makes the whole thing with Kashin Koji, where he finally masters jutsu, so fitting, but that's a video for another day. However, the lack of attention and recognition that he got from Naruto, it led to him being tempted to cross the line all the way into outright cheating. It started with Katasuke giving him the cheat codes to the video games that Boruto played, conditioning him to get used to cheating before moving him towards using the ninja tools during the tuning exams. A very easy and smooth transition to deceive a shinobi who, while they are still a prodigy shinobi, they are still a child, and a bratty child at that. This leads to Boruto eventually getting scolded by his father for cheating, and Boruto then comes face to face with Momoshiki, a representation of the monster that Boruto would become if he did not change his ways. We all picked up on the way that Boruto looked ashamed as Naruto called out Momoshiki for seeking power through chakra pills and chakra fruits, with Naruto preaching the value of hard work, the very same lesson Sasuke is trying to instill into Boruto as his teacher. Boruto got to see the Boruto era Kage assisting Naruto and Sasuke in the battle with Momoshiki and Kinshiki, seeing for the first time in his life what both high-level shinobi combat looks like, as well as what the hardened calluses on the hands of the shinobi who trained for decades to acquire that power could do, where it can make even these self-proclaimed gods fall at their feet, even when those gods cheated by fusing together. Right when Boruto was beginning to turn a corner and learning to accept the lessons and proving Sasuke right that the soul of a shinobi stays the same, Momoshiki appeared and gave Boruto the Karma Seal. The person who represented what Boruto could have become in the future was now attaching himself as a true test to show Boruto's growth, and a true test to prove Sasuke right or wrong. Boruto might have been committed to the path of hard work, the path of the shinobi, but by giving him the Karma Seal, Momoshiki not only ensured his own survival, but when you read between the lines, he also gave Boruto the very thing that Boruto had previously wanted, a cheat code to gain power. This is good internal and external conflict meshing together. very rapidly as the Karma Seal began to extract. Boruto's power, it began to increase, at times in the anime original scenes, growing to a point where he's misjudging his power when he's training throwing shuriken and he's splitting the boards in the process, unaware as to how his power increased so subtly but drastically for something as simple as tossing a shuriken, and Boruto was having to adjust, thinking nothing of it due to the bliss of his ignorance at the change occurring inside of his body. Boruto wanted a path of hard work. Momoshiki was forcing him unknowingly down a path of rapid ascension through cheating, but to call it flat out cheating is a bit misleading, but you'll see why I'm using the word cheating later on in the video. This brings us to Kawaki. Kawaki got introduced to Boruto and right away showed that there were levels to the power of karma. When fatigued and not even using the power of karma, it became very clear that he was deemed as an S rank level fighter, which is Kage level, and by the time he used the power of karma, it became something even greater than before. It became a small glimpse at the monstrous alien power that Boruto saw Naruto and Sasuke overcome in their battle with Momoshiki. Throughout their interactions, it became increasingly clear that Kawaki was not going to stick long with the way of the Shinobi, and eventually he flat out tells Boruto that the Otsutsuki way to gain power was the correct path. While he doesn't name the Otsutsuki outright, he does reference Jigen's method of gaining power, and Jigen was an Otsutsuki vessel who behaved like an Otsutsuki. Kawaki grew up indoctrinated in the Otsutsuki worldview of power, from the training to how the strongest holds the authority, and the soft nature and the patience that comes with the Shinobi way of doing things isn't something Kawaki cared for, which made the meshes of Boruto and Kawaki heating up over time feel so earned, because we as the audience know exactly where it leads us. Whereas Boruto was scared of using the power of karma, Kawaki wasn't. In fact, after he lost the power of karma, he found himself longing for it, for as much as Amado violated his body by giving him karma once again against his will, Kawaki could not have awakened karma had it not been for his own desire. Just as Amado told him, without karma, Kawaki felt empty. Sure, it was Amado gaslighting Kawaki on purpose, but it was all intentional to get us to where we know these two will eventually end up. That brings us to Code. When Code explained to Boruto and Kawaki how the karma would make them, quote, instantly become a seasoned warrior, end quote, it was more than a cheat code, and most of the fandom, they focused solely on the power creep aspect of it, especially since the narrative goes out of its way to show Boruto attempting to tap into that power. But there was a second hidden message behind this whole thing. Boruto in the early arc, the versus Momoshiki arc, had you told him something like this existed, he would have jumped at it, because it would have been a cheat code. It would have let him jump to the front of the line like he always wanted, believing that if he passed his father by knowing his weaknesses to exploit, then he could get acknowledged. Yet when Boruto used True Essence of Karma, it wasn't for those vanity reasons that would have been had he learned about karma earlier and had he had the Karma Seal earlier. It was proving Sasuke's point right about Shinobi's soul remaining the same no matter the era. Shinobi, they endure. Shinobi, they evolve. Shinobi tap into hidden power and dangerous power when it comes time to protect something precious to them. That's the whole concept behind using the power of the 8 inner gates. Any of them, you're only supposed to use that power when it hits that criteria, which is why Might Guy scolded Rock Lee in the Chunin exams when he bullied Team 7, Naruto and Sasuke by throwing hands with them, and Sakura by traumatizing her with those eyebrows, those kisses blown through the air, and beating the brakes off of Naruto and Sasuke. For Boruto, that precious thing that he was protecting was his brother Kawaki, who Code was after. For Boruto, that precious thing was his own survival, since Code was also after him. For Boruto, that precious thing was protecting the world his father gave up Kurama's power for in an effort to protect. For Boruto, that legacy he now carried on his shoulders was enough of a reason to tap into the true essence of karma, but as we saw, it wasn't enough. Merely having a good heart and good intentions and a good strong will, it isn't enough. when dealing with the Otsutsuki, and from that moment onward, Boruto's life has been made a living hell by a gaslighting Momoshiki, especially in this post-omnipotence world. That brings us to Boruto acknowledging his fear in this last chapter and telling Kawaki to kill him if Momoshiki ever takes over, because he's, without even realizing it, once again proving Sasuke right. The soul of a shinobi, it stays the same no matter the era. Part of your chakra is spiritual energy, which is known as yin chakra, which is connected to your mind, which you strengthen through meditation exercises like Jiraiya put Naruto through and Sada was trying to put Kawaki through. And you longtime viewers of the channel, you all know I have always had the premise that the yin part of Boruto's chakra is what Momoshiki exploits. It isn't just about Boruto being low on chakra, that is part of it, but that's not the only criteria for Momoshiki taking over. Boruto, after getting brought back to life, has lost more of his grip on this power, more of this grip on his mentality. Momoshiki's gaslighting led to Kurama cutting on against his will in chapter 80, and Boruto basically begging Momoshiki not to kill his friends, and Momoshiki edging him on by saying killing Team 10 was the only way to survive. Momoshiki was trying to break him. In chapter 78, Momoshiki again took over Boruto's body briefly when the distraught over the situation with Kawaki was reaching a boiling point, with Sasuke basically getting ready to kill Kawaki and tempers of everyone on the scene, they were running hot. Momoshiki briefly took over and he freed Kawaki, then proceeded to gaslight Boruto further after he gave up control, because he both secured the freedom of the vessel, Kawaki, who he needed to feed to the Ten Tails, and he also cemented the last steps needed to push Boruto into despair right before Omnipotence got casted, because Momoshiki knew what was coming. The conditions, they had been changing very slowly, yet Boruto, without even realizing, was doing the very thing Sasuke told him was the key to Naruto becoming who he was in the versus Momoshiki arc, and the key to Boruto truly surpassing Naruto like Sasuke said he could, where he told Boruto to focus less on who Naruto is as Hokage and more on the journey he took when he was a serial crayon eater who failed the academy graduation 3 times in a row, and he was hated by everyone, including his classmates, which all those scenes you saw in the anime of Shikamaru and everybody playing with Naruto, that was all anime filler. Ain't none of that shit happening in the manga. Boruto was enduring and being pushed to that moment where Sasuke would again tell him at the end of part 1, survive the lessons Naruto did and you will become successful in your goal. Boruto subconsciously has already walked that path. He was offered the drugs, which he took out of the fear without questioning them, thinking that this will go through in the way that he needs to live a normal life. He came to the decision very quickly, hence Naruto's shock, because it was a break glass moment for Boruto because of how scared he was of Momoshiki. However, after having died and having come back to life, even though he sensed something had changed, potentially for the worse, Boruto took the risk of knowing Momoshiki could still hijack because he wanted to learn to control the power himself. The pills, they were a cheat code, something I don't think enough people caught, and Boruto caught it at the time. Yes, the pills, they were a way to suppress Momoshiki, but they were a cheat in that they would have allowed Boruto to skip right to the payoff of not having to worry about Momoshiki without the journey to get there on his own. Just as Naruto wasn't walking around with a literal ceiling tag on him every single day, like the one that Jiraiya gave Kakashi to use if Naruto ever lost control, Naruto knew that he would eventually need Kurama's power, even if he made the mistake of over-relying on it at times, despite risking the safety of his teammates and despite the 8 trigram seal Minato placed on him loosening each and every time and Kurama's influence growing. Even as Kurama's chakra mixed into Naruto's own, Naruto's playing with fire, and we saw what that got him at the pain arc, which came right when Naruto's mental state of mind broke, which is why Minato rebuilt that seal, and that was so important. It gave Naruto one more chance after what was basically a near-death experience. For Boruto, he's now having walked that path. What did Naruto have to have happen next? He had to control and confront his fear of Kurama, the hatred that was inside of his soul, which came from being a Jinchuriki. He needed to do that before he could control Kurama by force, before eventually also working in unison with him. Those are all aspects of what kind of chakra. Those are aspects of yin chakra because it is linked to the spirit. For Boruto, the fear that he is losing control and Momoshiki harming those who he cares for, and the fear of never regaining control if Momoshiki takes over for a long enough period of time. There isn't a dormant hatred inside of Boruto the way that there was with Naruto. Boruto has to face what is inside of him first before he can forcibly control this power and eventually remove the evil nature of Momoshiki. It is basic storytelling building to that moment of Boruto conquering that fear, which hits harder when you take into consideration the Buddhism aspects of the story. Boruto might have access to Momoshiki's mind. He might have access to Byakugan suppressant drugs, but it's not about suppressing a power that he's eventually going to need to face the threats at hand. There's a reason he's telling Kawaki, I need you to get full access to Ishiki's power. Eventually, Boruto's going to have to get full access to Momoshiki's power. This is a power that is a part of who Boruto is, even if it was never by his choice. As a shinobi, enduring long enough to mentally conquer Momoshiki, that is proving Sasuke right, that the soul of a shinobi stays the same no matter the era. And Boruto, by the time he challenges Kawaki, appears to be in control or better control, potentially only in the first stage of control of his karma when he fights Momoshiki. Just as all of Naruto's roads led to him being rewarded with 6-pound sage mode by Hagoromo, which the data book calls a reward for conquering the cycle of samsara and the pain and suffering in that cycle that Naruto endured. Boruto not only has to do that, but he has to take it a step further and reach a point of nirvana, which is going to transcend to something, potentially something larger than Shibai himself. And for that, I don't mean power so much as I mean the symbolism and the payoff. Jogan, the Chakra Kage's kids, Uzumaki's sealing jutsu, that stuff is all fun to talk about. And to different degrees, that stuff's likely going to play a role, especially the vortex relationship of the Uzumaki and Boruto being in his own spiral of destiny. But in order to truly appreciate all of that, Sasuke's words about the shinobi always having their soul survive despite the era has to be highlighted for Boruto, which is what the story has done when you read in between the lines in order to set us up for Boruto's eventual mastery of Momoshiki and removal of Momoshiki's evil nature, a payoff that is rivaled only by the editing in the chapter 15 review here on the left, or my new anime explain video where I break down all the types of Dragon Slayer magic, so check that out if you haven't already.